I'm going to talk about hamsters today. If you want to buy a hamster, if you haven't had one before, you first will need a cage and maybe something interesting for them to play around, and maybe like wee chewy toys and this sort of like a dish for them, and they will stand in the dish to eat. Some of them will. And you can also put all sorts of wee things around the cage that they can make their bed with, like kitchen roll or toilet roll or all sorts of things like that. Even maybe not paper, just things that are nice and soft for them that they can make their bedding with. They love all sorts of like chewy toys, but they are supposed to chew on them because they need to do that because their teeth do grow a lot, and they like things to play around in. Like I have this paper merry-go-round and this tube that's a bit like a seesaw, and they like wee places to hide and stuff, and they will get quite scared sometimes. If they meet new people, they can get scared and they might just run away, but you also have to be careful that you don't let your hamster run about the house when you're not looking at it. You have to always look at your hamsters and make sure they're okay. You'll also need like a little water bottle here. And there's wee things that you can get it stuck to the cage with, like this thing that holds the water bottle up. You'll maybe need a water bottle a bit like that. You can get all sorts of ones with pictures on them and stuff like that. And they wake up at night and they play at night and they sleep during the day. And you can put things like toilet roll tubes in, and if you're going to get them onto a new food that's practically different from the other food. Right here I have their new food. This is the food that I'm trying to get them to go on to, and their old food is this. It sort of like has stuff in it that they don't like, so I'm trying to get them onto this here food. And if you're going to change their cage out, you'll need to spray it with this because it keeps them healthy, and they can get sick if you don't clean their cage out once a week. And they also like to play around in these balls, and you can put all sorts of things like tissues in it. And if you want to put your hamster in the ball, you sort of screw the lid off like that, just sort of wiggle it around a bit like that, and then you can put your hamster just inside there. I put some kitchen roll in here just so if she gets tired running about the house, she can make a wee bed. Always remember to watch them because they can get in places where you might not find them. And whenever you put them in the bowl, always try to remember to put the lid on again, or they can escape. My hamsters are able to climb the sides of the balls up to the top. If the lid was open, they would be able to get out here. And they also like to make their own bed with all sorts of things like cotton wool pads and all sorts of things like that that's all soft. And if you're going to change their cage out, you might want to put maybe all this sort of stuff in it. It's like you can have wood shavings or wood chips. Wood chips are really for budgies and stuff like that, but you can put wood chips in if you want. Now I'm going to show you all the types of hamsters there is here. So I have 2 different hamsters here. Now they're probably way down in the back there. Yeah, they probably are. They like all sorts of things like this here, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them out because they're way in the back. Oh, there's one in there. I'll be able to show you maybe just one because I don't know where the other one is. It's just somewhere down in the back. And there might be 2 in here. Here's one. Now, you see a tiny face there peeping out? Come on, come see she is a dwarf hamster. They will be much tinier than the other hamsters, which are about the size of my hand, about the size there. And these hamsters are much smaller, and they're still the same thing as the other hamsters. They like all the same things, and they're all the same. And I have a wee paper merry-go-round here it doesn't move around much, but there's holes in it and they can go through the holes and they enjoy doing that. And toilet roll tubes as well, they're very handy. They like to run about in the toilet roll tubes here. And they also make wee beds in there. They might stuff some of this into the bed, into the toilet roll tube, and then make a wee bed. And the lid can come off the house if you want to play with your hamster. Only play with them for 30 minutes a day each, because if you have to, just play with them for 30 minutes each. If you want, you can have them out at one time, and you can just play with them for 30 minutes instead of 30 minutes each, but that would be 60 minutes, and that would be an hour. This is Rachel here. She likes running about in these here seesaws. You see, they're like little tubes. She's going to come in it here. No, maybe not. They like running about in these things. They just love it. Whenever I first got this, I thought it was a telescope, but then I knew it was for my hamsters. Don't fill the water bottle right up to the top, because then they can't get the water. It's quite hard for them to get the water out. If you just fill it up about halfway, it's easier for them to get the water out. And just make sure that you don't really touch the ends of this, because they can get germs. If you touch the end of it, remember to wash it. And these wee caps here come off. And if you're going to change the water every day, you have to change it every day. Or if you might not be there, you might change it every so often. You see, these caps can come off if you're changing the water, and then you can pour the water out here, and you can just screw them back on again. As I said, they love running about at the night, and you might want to put them in a different room. But I sleep really well with them. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I sleep really well with them because I always sleep really good. If you're not a very good sleeper, you might want to put them in a different room. As I said, they like all sorts of things like kitchen roll and stuff like that to make their own bed. You can put it all over the cage so they can try and find it, and then they can pull it back into their bed, and then they can make the bed. All these things like this stuff here, all the nuts and things, if you're trying to get them onto the new food, you can just put some of it in, and the old food and the new food might be a bit different. And if it's a bit different, you might put some of the old food in and some of the new food. as I said, you can play with them for 30 minutes a day, and they just let them run about on your knee and everything. You might want to put some of the chewy toys that have like ends on them that like wire. You might want to tie it to the roof, because the roof normally has bars, and they do like to hang on the roof, hang upside down, and then they would be able to chew on this. But it does get very interesting whenever there's things that new for them. There should be wee clips like this so that the hamsters can't pull the roof anywhere, so they can get out. And make sure you don't have any cage that's like very small, because then it might not be that exciting. You might want to have some ramps up so they can get higher levels. And make sure they don't jump onto the floor or anything. They can really hurt themselves. So that's really all I can tell you at the minute, so bye.